Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving into a really sneaky, dangerous psychological trap that's pretty much everywhere in our modern world. We're going to look at why this exhausting, constant pressure to keep up appearances is literally the exact thing keeping so many people away from true wealth. So let's just jump right in.
This totally flips our standard expectations about money right on their head. The natural assumption is that people stay broke simply because they have a low income. But actually, the silent wealth killer usually isn't what you earn. It's the overwhelming, ego-driven desire to simply appear wealthy to everyone around you. It's the performance of wealth that actually drains the reality of wealth.
Okay, let's dive into this. We really have to ask ourselves, where is this coming from? What exactly creates this crazy, intense, and often silent pressure to project an illusion of wealth? Because it doesn't just come out of thin air. It comes from the everyday items that surround us, the constant signaling we see, and the powerful cultural messaging telling us what success is supposed to look like.
And here is exactly what that illusion is made of. We're talking about those brand new, crazy expensive phones that we feel compelled to upgrade every single year. Designer clothes plastered with logos, luxury cars that are heavily financed with massive monthly payments, and of course the big one, curated social media lifestyles. Social media acts like this massive artificial amplifier. It takes these exhausting status symbols and broadcasts them 24/7, creating an overwhelming, inescapable pressure to artificially inflate our own lifestyles just to feel like we're keeping pace with our friends. And that brings us to a highly dangerous financial phenomenon known as lifestyle inflation. This happens when your spending increases at the exact same rate as your income goes up. You get a raise, and immediately, you upgrade your apartment, your car, your wardrobe. You do it simply to maintain or elevate your perceived social status. But this continuous upgrading traps people in a never-ending cycle. You might be earning way more, but because your expenses are rising right alongside your paycheck, you're effectively running in place financially. You're trapped on a treadmill, running faster and faster just to stay completely still.
Now, it's super easy to look at this and just think it's foolish behavior, right? But we need to establish some empathy here. Why do we actually fall into this status trap? Well, it's absolutely crucial to understand that the desire for approval, validation, and status is a deeply ingrained, natural human psychological drive. It's really not something to be ashamed of. For thousands of years, being accepted by the tribe meant survival. Our brains are literally hardwired to care about where we stand in the social hierarchy.
Let's break that psychological drive down into a real-world loop. Step 1. You compare yourself to the heavily curated, highlight reel lives you see on social media. Step 2. That comparison triggers a deeply rooted insecurity, and it creates this intense emotional need for social validation. Step 3. To soothe that insecurity, you spend money to match that perceived status. And this is exactly how comparison tricks our ancient brains into opening our modern wallets.
But here is the fatal flaw in that whole psychological loop. Status only creates temporary dopamine. When you buy that luxury item, sure, you get a rush, you feel successful, you feel validated, but that dopamine hit, it fades incredibly fast. The new car smell disappears. The new phone just becomes your normal phone. The designer jacket just becomes a piece of fabric sitting in your closet. And because the feeling fades, it forces you right back to the mall, back to the dealership, or back to the online store to buy the next luxury item, just to feel that fleeting sense of success all over again.
So, we've explored the psychology. Now, let's pivot to the math of staying broke. Because while psychology explains the why, the math dictates your actual future.
And the crucial mathematical concept here is opportunity cost. In finance, opportunity cost isn't just about what you bought, it's about what you gave up to buy it. It is the wealth you permanently lose when you choose to spend your money on fleeting appearances instead of income-producing assets. Every single dollar you spend on looking rich is literally a dollar stolen from your future financial freedom. It's a seed you chose to eat today instead of planting for tomorrow.
Let's look at the real-world impact of that opportunity cost with a direct comparison. We've got person A and person B, both with an extra 10,000 rupees every single month. Person A takes that 10,000 and quietly invests it into assets, stocks, real estate, things that actually grow. Person B takes that exact same 10,000 rupees and spends it on appearances, car payments, luxury accessories, expensive dinners out. Now, I want you to mentally fast forward. Just imagine the massive, insurmountable wealth gap that forms between these two people over 10, 20, or 30 years.
After decades of earning a great salary, after years of actively trying to impress colleagues, neighbors, and total strangers on the internet, this is what person B actually has in real wealth-generating assets.
Zero. Absolutely nothing. They've got a closet full of depreciated clothes and a driveway with an aging car, but they have absolutely no financial foundation. Let the gravity of that zero really sink in.
So, if spending just to look rich keeps you at zero, what's the alternative? What do truly wealthy people actually do behind the scenes?
Well, there is a stark, fundamental contrast between fake wealth and real wealth. Fake wealth is all about seeking external approval, while real wealth is built on the quiet power of delayed gratification. Fake wealth chases that temporary dopamine spike. Real wealth relies on boring, persistent, long-term thinking. And most importantly, fake wealth is constantly buying liabilities, things that lose value and drain your pocket over time. Real wealth prioritizes buying assets, things that actually put money back into your pocket. Truly wealthy people prioritize ownership and cash flow way above showing off.
So how do we actually do this? Here are some highly practical, actionable strategies you can borrow from the habits of the truly wealthy. First, focus heavily on acquiring assets above all else. Second, practice delayed gratification. You don't have to deny yourself forever, but you do have to learn how to wait. Third, stretch out your time horizon. Start thinking about money in terms of decades, not days. And finally, the golden rule to defeat lifestyle inflation: invest aggressively before you allow yourself to upgrade your lifestyle. Empower yourself to secure your future first.
Whenever you feel that biological urge to buy something just for the status it brings, I want you to remember this absolute gut punch of a reality check. The people you're trying to impress won't pay your bills. They aren't going to fund your retirement. They aren't going to cover your emergencies. This realization completely dismantles the psychological need for ego-driven consumerism. Because honestly, why sacrifice your ultimate freedom for the fleeting applause of people who aren't even invested in your survival?
The next time you're about to make a significant purchase, I really want you to stop and ask yourself, am I buying this for my own utility and joy, or am I buying this to project an image to someone else? Are you building a facade, or are you building a fortress? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep questioning, and remember this one crucial takeaway. Stop spending money to look rich. Start investing money to become rich.